Greetings, one and all. Welcome back to Fantasy February. This is Cover Decoder. This is the show where we don our armor. We put on our sword. And we ride our tired old nag to the mouth of the cave to crawl into its moist, dank depths and pull out some cover treasure. With me, as always, is the Tape Finder General. He will find you. He will hang you. He will force you to look at his cassette collection.
Look at it.
Come to my tree. Yes.
And then...
What a waste.
We have Inks, the man behind the pen. He wields a pen like a murderer wields a blade.
I've seen him impale 10 men on one pen.
And he's just as deadly.
Impossible.
And I'm the Brengineer. All right. So here we go. Folks, we're back. We're back talking about fantasy.
Oh,
fantasy is a genre
fantasy.
I absolutely love. I think we all love it. We've so far we've interviewed Vidar the Silent, and he brought to the conversation how fantasy is something that is it's rugged and it's visceral and
earthy. He was all about them
earthy.
rocks and the dirt and the grass.
Barbarians
and the
can't
caves.
afford to mince words.
That's right.
Exactly. It's something that we just don't experience this day and age, right?
No.
And then last episode, Inks took us through the covers of the Prydain series. Regaled us with tales of Prydain.
That's Coverdane now. Coverdane.
Coverdane, sorry.
Ooh, Coverdane.
And,
different realm.
Different realm altogether. And he took us to his childhood. You know, these childhood stories where we grow up wanting to wield the weapon, to save the girl, to learn the lessons that turn you from a young boy or girl into a
strapping man.
Yeah.
Worthy of Tangs.
Worthy of Tangs.
Only
no
to find
shaft,
out
all ball.
that being a pig boy sucks sometimes.
Yeah. Now, as for me, before we start, I want to let you guys on a little secret here.
Secret.
A little inside knowledge, and this is not even a Patreon episode, and I'm still going to give you.
Whoa, you're giving out secret knowledge for free.
Giving out free secret knowledge.
This is rare, folks. This is a rare occurrence, only for Fantasy February.
Only for fantasy. The nexus of fantasy.
The
February.
Brengineer drinks Polar when he records.
Polar?
I fully endorse Polar water.
Rides a polar bear.
There's a battle going on within me. There's the lover of Polar.
You are a scoundrel, doggy.
Then there's the lover of within me of the far superior but more expensive Waterloo. The Waterloo. A little Napoleon in every sip.
We call Polar poor man's Waterloo.
Yes. So it's Polar Bear versus Napoleon going on in a battle within me. And I also like to burn candles while I do almost anything creative. It sets a nice thing.
Ooh, you're getting some of the Brengineer inside tips on his creative mind.
And currently,
this is the Brengineer self-care kit.
And currently, I am burning.
Pay that extra 10 cents for the Waterloo.
That's right.
Get you some lovely candles.
Yep, that's right. A romantic evening with yourself.
Leave the charcuterie plate.
I am currently burning an Autumn Bow Hollow lamp and dagger candle.
Oh, hand loomed by the guildsman.
This is a handmade candle from Guildmaster Ingsmith. Who we interviewed last season. The gentleman behind Guild of Lore.
He's a beautiful man.
And he has a tower.
He does.
He has a tower. He wears a cloak
perfect for pouring candles.
And yeah, he sent me some wonderful candles. Among those, winter berry.
Huff it.
And I
smell
believe,
the candle now.
Snowy
smell
peak.
the candle now.
I believe it's
Huff it.
Vinterberry.
Smell it.
They need to hear.
Smell
They
it,
need to hear
Vinterberry.
you smell the candle. Smell
Put
it.
your nose in it.
Smell it now. What is it?
My this candle here coincides with the release of his newest album, Autumn Bow
His
Hollow.
eyes just flickered.
It's a beautiful autumnal
harvest.
album. Harvest.
Hot harvest.
Hot harvest music. And I can't say enough good things about Guild of Lore.
No.
Anytime he puts out an album, it's an event among the Dungeon Synth community. So Master Ingsmith, wonderful album, wonderful candles. And that's all I have to say.
Not to mention,
about that.
this stallion of a man, does not half-ass anything. The cover for his candle company is a masterpiece.
It's great. Yeah.
amazing.
Bahalo is, he's only getting better. He came out with a map. The map is juicy. The candles are juicy. The covers are juicy.
There's
Yes.
just juice running from all this
This
stuff.
is a man who hikes 9 hours up
9
the
hours.
fjords of the mountains behind his
the
home
fjords.
to a small cabin that he built with his
Barefoot.
hands to pour candles just to get the right smells and atmosphere. That might or might not be true, but to me, it's true because I believe that Ingsmith would do it. And I can't wait
would
to
do
get
it.
my own candle. So, folks,
That's
pick yourself
right.
up
Yeah.
some candles.
We talk about living your brand. This guy
he is the brand.
burned so many candles. He went, what the hell?
Yeah,
Yeah, I might as well
guess
make
I'll
my
make my
own.
I know.
Yeah.
Now, fellas, I'm going to take you in to the Pixel Dungeon. The Pixel Dungeon. In the Pixel Dungeon, everything's a little bit flat, a little low res.
Yeah. It is kind of hard to tell that the P looks like P sometimes. But this is a leather harness, even though it is 2D. Do you see it?
The Pixel Scheiße is all over the walls.
That is not mud!
So the Pixel Dungeon has different layers. So let me take you into the first room.
Und ja.
We open the squeaky door of the past. Within the pixely room before you, lit by 2D sprite candles, stands a 2D sprite, young Brengineer.
Oh,
He's
yes.
in a software store. A software store. Do you guys remember software stores?
Were they called software stores? Because I don't remember a software store
I
being
don't
called.
know.
Hi,
So-
welcome to Software Store.
This software store was called Egghead Software.
What?
It was
This
called
is
Egghead
real?
Software. This was real. This is in the mid
Welcome to
90s.
Egghead Software. Don't touch anything unless you have the key to the glass, which is me. You have to talk to me before you touch anything.
So I go into Egghead Software with my mother, and my mother would go in there to buy like
Floppy disks.
the newest, floppy disks, the newest like Windows 95
I miss those.
or Windows product. I think she went in to get Windows 98 when that came out, or the next TurboTax, or whatever lame software
Ooh.
she wanted.
Sounds like quite the evening.
Meanwhile, I was drawn to the back corner of the store where the video games, rather the computer games, resided, right? Now, young children. The 90s was a glorious time for video game box art.
It was an exploratory time.
Because, listen here. When you walked into a store that sold specifically computer games, those boxes were giant. They had giant boxes.
Yep.
Giant.
Super glossy.
Glossy. Beautiful art. And
Nicer than most of my furniture.
that's right. And you picked the box up, and there was nothing in it. There was maybe a booklet and a CD. The box did not need to be that big to house what was in there. But it
I
was
do not put the software in the boxes for little urchins like you
It
to
comes
touch
with
it.
a pair of socks and a candle for you to...
I need to remind you who has the key.
You know what? So, real quick, Brengineer, you know what my theory is on this?
What's
My
that?
theory on this is that video games at that time were not established and they didn't know what they wanted to be. So they had to do like books and posters. They had to like really try and sell you. So in order to do that, they didn't just mash out some shitty like art from the game that someone photoshopped. They actually took the time to create something to draw you in.
Yeah, I mean the pixels weren't able to show what was in the creator's mind, so you had to have these awesome paintings so that you could apply that with the most powerful processor known to man, your
Windows
imagination.
98.
Your imagination. You could apply it to the shitty pixels you were seeing on the screen.
That could be true. Now, I remember specifically getting the game Dune 2000, which was basically a Command and Conquer
I
clone.
love that game.
But of the Dune universe, and it was amazing. And it came with a giant poster. I mean, there was no reason to have a poster this big. Like, a normal kid's bedroom wall could not contain this poster. It was immense and insane. But you're totally right. I mean, video games, computer games rather, that came out had to be treated more like film, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It seems. So you don't really see posters for video games these days outside of, your GameStop or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, this was the state of the 90s software retail place. You go in there, you had your lame, boring,
everything is beige. Everything's
everything's
beige except for that one corner that's black and red. It's black and it's red.
Next to the Staples and the Red Hots.
Yeah, there's like special black light bulbs over there, and you could just like drift over there like an insect.
That's right. And now, as a kid, it was very much like the video store. I would kind of look at the things, I was allowed to look at because I didn't want to get caught, and I'd kind of side-eye the things.
Excuse me.
I was not supposed
This
to
is
look
not a library.
And so I first saw things in there like Myst for the first time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I remember seeing the Phantasmagoria games.
Tell me more.
Which terrified me. And I remember very specifically for the first time laying eyes on that Doom box.
You beeve!
Doom. Now this episode is not about Doom, okay?
No.
How can it not be about Doom?
Because Doom is a science fiction game, not a fantasy game.
Yeah.
You put it up here.
Hey.
We can't not derail this train.
We
This is
cannot.
fantasy February.
But I have to talk about Doom because Doom, for me, like, somehow was formative in my childhood.
Hell
right?
yeah! Look at this freaking box art.
Yeah, it was so violent. It was scary. It was forbidden because my parents didn't want me to play Doom. We've talked about this story, like how I'd sneak Doom into my house. But here I could see the box art.
Dude.
I love player 2 in the background.
He's like,
being like, hold on, I'm cut. Hold on, dude. No, wait.
I like this.
No, dude.
I like this demon in the bottom left-hand corner who's like, "Shh! I'm gonna give him an enema. Hold on, I'm sneaking up. I'm gonna get him from behind. Just watch."
So
I would pull the old Satan sneak.
So what you've got is the classic Doom 1 cover here. It's got the Doom guy. He's standing
so
up on a rock, and around him are the demons,
the imps.
These are
the
barons. I think these are the barons of hell.
grown
Some
men.
of them are imps too, and they are all just about to grab Doom guy and rip him a new butthole. And then behind him is his friend. He's got his arm out and he's running. He's like, I'm coming, buddy. I'm coming. But I think Doom Guy's got to use up a life.
Dude,
I don't think he's going to last long.
Yeah, that name has got to be taken. Nobody kills Doom Guy.
Oh, that's
Doom
his
Guy.
name. That is his
He
name.
doesn't need a partner.
No,
So-
no
Is
shit,
it?
dude.
Yep.
That is his name.
At this
That's
point,
his name is Doom Guy.
his name is Doom Guy. And that's
He
just,
also has a Trans Am.
Yeah.
just what people called him, and the name stuck because he never, I don't think he ever really had a name. So anyways,
I got Doom and Guy tattooed on my biceps. I'll let you touch them after we
Doom
survive.
guy.
Guy.
my biceps will never die. Moving over, we have the iconic Doom 2 art.
Oh,
Doom 2, the Doom 2 art is incredible. I don't think it's quite as iconic as the original Doom art, but Doom 2 is done by Gerald Brom.
That's
Guys,
right.
We've talked about this. Gerald Brom.
It's the Brom Bomb.
Here we've got the Cyber Demon, the great big baddie of the Doom games, being fired upon. That's not Doom Guy, I don't think. That looks like one of the zombies from the game. Maybe it's Doom Guy.
Yeah, dude. I'd never get that haircut.
No, dude,
Never
it's
get
Doom
that
Guy in his
haircut.
Mad Max getup. He's like, fuck the green
Yeah,
armor.
no way, bro.
I'm going Road Warrior style on this baddie.
I got a straight head tat.
Dude, he's shooting him in
You can tell.
the hamburger tummy. Oh, I
Yeah,
got
it's
such
totally
bad
got some-
indigestion.
The hamburger tummy.
You know what's really interesting about this one?
The taffy
I
toe.
like his penis hole. I'm just really waiting for like just the penis to flop out
Yeah,
there.
oh,
just
dude,
emerge.
totally. Yeah,
That's
just
why he's
roll
so
out.
mad. It's gone. He's just got cyber
Where's
underwear.
my penis?
Upgraded. I really feel like this might have been. I don't know. I kind of feel like Brom hadn't done much sci-fi before this because this just kind of seems like it was out of his wheelhouse. Like it's really good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I've seen
It's
other
iconic.
Brom pieces that are. I don't just a lot more. I guess maybe especially the Doom guy, just looks so different than his usual.
Yeah.
His usual fare.
But look, everyone's evolving. Everyone's
true.
riding their own
Yep.
horse. You know,
This is early.
You can
This
go
is early, yeah.
on my Instagram or anybody's Instagram. You can scroll all the way to like 2015 and see some embarrassing shit.
Yeah.
Well, this is anything
Now-
but embarrassing. This is amazing.
It's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. Brom on a bad day, 10 years ago is me on 3 pounds of cocaine on a good day. So, yeah, don't get me wrong.
So these two pieces here. First was by Don
Punchatz, dude. Oh man,
Yep.
he's an amazing artist.
Yeah, great artist. The second Doom by Gerald Brom.
Don Punchatz actually, he had his own studio, and he was known as the godfather of Dallas illustration. He started in 1970.
Dallas?
Yeah, he was known as the godfather of Dallas illustration because he started this major studio in Texas.
Really?
Dude, he'd been.
Oh, you said Dallas illustration. I thought you said Taoist.
No,
I
he was
like,
Really getting into his
He said,
spiritual
"Screw
side.
that!
He's
I'm
just like,
killing demons."
"Come, my son."
But what's nuts is
Yes.
if you look at his
He's
stuff
just got,
before
like-
this, it's like this hyper real, like surrealistic, like imagery. It looks nothing like this. It's not violent like this. It's crazy and it's amazing looking. But I am always blown away when I look at this and I look at Don Punchatz's other pieces because I'm so curious how and why he took this piece because it just seems so like different than his other work.
Right.
And what's cool too, his son.
It might have just been a paying job. Sometimes you're sitting there, you're doing your your Dallas Taoist surrealistic art or whatever, and then you suddenly realize like, wow, this isn't making my tummy full, but this crazy demon drawing will, and then
Yeah,
you
dude.
take that.
Well, it might be too that I haven't looked into his portfolio deep enough. He worked on heavy metal. He worked on
Really?
Yep, he worked on heavy metal. He worked in Playboy. So he did edgy stuff. He painted he painted the stuff.
He sprayed an areola or two.
That's right. He did a nip in his time or two. And I will say too, what's
no,
cool
that
is
needs a little bit- that needs a
his
little bit
son.
more.
I think his name is Gregor Punchatz. I don't remember. You'll have to double check that, but he did.
Poon Cub.
He did sculptures for Doom 2. He did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sculpted a bunch of the the
Creatures
the
and scan
demons
them
and
in.
creatures. So he did those sculptures for Doom 2. So it was a family affair.
Okay, so these games just really made young Brengineer. You could find these games online for free because they would always release a shareware version, right?
Shareware. Share the
Share
ware.
the, share the ware. So what I would do is I'd get on AOL, my AOL site. If you
Oh
remember
man.
that. And
Yeah.
there was a game button, and you would click the game tab, and it
Do you
would
want
just
to play
give you
games?
it would just give you this list of game demos you could download, and it was the oldest, weirdest crap on there. and I would download and play it all. It was just the weirdest games. I found gems like Thor's hammer. I found Hugo's House of Horrors was one.
I remember
which was
that game is great.
A text-based adventure game where you had to like type "walk up to pumpkin" and the character would walk over, smash pumpkin, grab the key, open. It was horrible.
But
horrible,
sometimes like the text was so specific, like you couldn't figure out what it was.
Exactly. And then you had games like the shareware version of Doom, which I downloaded a lot. My parents uninstalled a lot. And we just kind of went back and forwards with that. And eventually, you could only play these games, I believe, had 3 or 4 campaigns, essentially, right? Each one was a different setting. And so you could download the first setting, which was on the military base that was being attacked by these demons. And I played that thing over and over and over and over again.
Every secret, every demon killed.
Well,
and in fact, to this day, this game is so ingrained into my hands that unless I set it to max difficulty, it's not that much fun to play.
That's right.
It's just too easy otherwise.
It's a humble brag.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's
I set it to max difficulty, it means nothing to me. It's like breathing.
Yeah, folks, I remember I used to hang out with Brengineer. We'd play Doom together, and it was not a proper evening unless we generated a bunch of random dungeons with only the chainsaw and played Steely Dan. That was the soundtrack to Doom. It's not metal.
Steely Dan?
It's Steely Dan.
Yeah, it was Steely Dan Records and Doom. It was... Okay.
Ricky, don't lose that number.
True story. Okay.
I shot my old demon back in Oregon.
So you're wondering why I bring up Doom, and I will get there. But I discovered something, a distant memory, and so I'm going to take you into the second room of the dungeon, right? And this is where I discovered King's Quest.
Oh,
and here's why I bring up King's Quest, because I went to Costco. Remember Costco? I went to Costco.
Engineer. It's still here.
It does. It does.
Think you get...
And I would go with my mother and we'd look through the software section, and side by side was this Doom 2 game, and next to it was this King's Quest game, right? I am shocked by the similarities between the covers. Do you see it?
Well,
subject matter.
Let's see here. So what we have, folks, is Demon Lord, now looking a little bit more like Minotaur Man. This is when he didn't go through like the refinery in Terminator 2 and get all
he didn't become a Cenobite.
He's not made of metal quite.
He's all flesh.
He's all flesh.
All flesh, baby.
He doesn't have his beef tummy. And his door, he was just about to finish masturbating when his door opened and this leather...
Still got his grip.
This leather-wearing adventurer just burst into his secret chamber and said, "Hey, where's the orb?"
I was doing anything. I was doing anything.
Whoa, hey.
Yeah, and I can totally see all we're missing is a shotgun and some cybernetic parts. And yeah, there are some similarities.
Yeah,
so,
but
you play from the Minotaurs' point of view at this point.
Yes, kill all humans.
So even the color palettes are similar. You have in the Doom 2, you have a cooler colors in the foreground, lots of oranges, and then you end up with the cooler colors in the background here and the oranges in the front. Now, I was looking at these games side by side as a kid. That, for whatever reason, didn't come to me at this time. But guess what game my mother let me play?
King's Quest.
And
I'm glad that she did.
It's a chess game, Mom.
If you are unfamiliar with King's Quest, in the 90s, the company Sierra was putting out really amazing point-click computer games.
Good.
They're awesome. Essentially, a point-click computer game is you have a character on a screen, and you could click around, your character would move there, and then you basically solve puzzles by talking to people, collecting items. Essentially,
I played one of those.
They're puzzle games with stories. A lot of people don't like them, or kind of make fun of them or laugh them off or whatever. But I still love them, and I still play these games to this day. This cover here was created by John Shroades,
who is himself a computer program, judging by his photo.
What I have here is a self-portrait by John Shroades here. Judging by his red nose, he spends a lot of time with Fat Bilbo, drinking gallons of wine.
So celebrate my 111th birthday.
Tap that nose. Let's get a
This gentleman,
taste of the nose wine.
This gentleman is very talented. He is, I've never heard of him, but he ended up working for Sierra, and he did a lot of the backgrounds for these games, and he did this cover art here. So John Shroades has a really nice website. It's separated into different links up top. So he's done a lot of different phone games, like
Serious
Plants vs.
games.
Zombies, for example. If you go over to Serious Games,
He did Plants vs. Zombies?
He did Plants vs. Zombies. He's
So
done
this
work
guy's still
for-
relevant.
Yeah, he did work for MechWarrior back when it was by WizKids. And if you look down below, he did these images
Gabriel
for
Knight?
Gabriel Knight. So this is what I really love about these point-click adventure games is
You're playing a bunch of paintings.
yeah, every background, the characters, they're all hand-painted by artists, and then they're transferred into a computer into games that have great stories, great puzzles, and are a lot of fun to play.
Well, that makes sense because you don't really have, at the time, you're not really having, Photoshop as we know it.
Exactly. I mean, you had Photoshop, but it wasn't used like it is today, right?
No.
So you can come along, look at some of his other stuff. He's got some great dinosaur images over here under illustration.
Where's the dinosaurs?
Because
Give me that.
he later did some.
Tyranno-Claws.
Dude, I remember that
Yeah.
book. That's a kid's book.
This is heresy.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
He did children's books. He's done all
I've
kinds of
Tyrannosaurus
things.
doesn't want to deliver presents. He wants to hunt.
He wants to kill things. I've
eat goat.
read a bunch of this guy's stuff. His art is
Yep.
really, really nice.
No, this
Yeah.
is, it really is good.
His black and white work is amazing. So be sure to check out some of his black and white work too.
Dude, he's a Mark Knopfler fan? Sold.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's nothing.
Yeah, so
He's nothing in the basement.
Looking at his bio, it looks like he went to Pasadena and attended art college and design, and he ended up with an illustration major. And he moved into working at Sierra, where he got his start doing computer games.
So
Where he
good.
was
Sierra
sucked
made
into the
so
computer
many
and
childhood
it became
memories.
a program.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
many-
right.
so many
My name
childhood
is
memories.
Software.
And
you
then,
want to go to software shop, Egghead Software.
so anyways, at some point he did this amazing King's Quest cover, which has just a great color palette, a very striking image.
Is this
So-
the one where you have to pie the Yeti? That was just great.
No, this is the previous one. In case you're curious about King's Quest, it's about a king named
King
King
Graham.
Graham. King Graham.
And he goes on a quest.
The first 3 or 4 games are kind of unplayable because the graphics are so bad. Like it's one of those things where it looks like it was made on MS Paint and it's just not that enjoyable. But King's Quest 5 is a masterpiece of a game. The graphics got better. They're written by Roberta Williams, who is an author, I guess, and she's witty and fun, and the games are very whimsical. They have good storylines. So I highly recommend them. Check out John Shroades' art.
Yeah, he
And so-
killed it. He killed it. So
He
he's
killed it.
he's an acrylic man.
He's an acrylic man,
He's an acrylic
and you can
man.
tell these
See,
definitely
you can create lush juiciness with acrylic.
these
you
just
can.
look like acrylic paintings for sure.
Which we should
So-
say is interesting because the similarities, but like you said, between the Doom 2 and the King's Quest are there. And Brom is an oil man, from what
Yeah.
I understand. Pretty much strictly.
Ooh. medium fight.
White.
I truly believe, I 100% truly believe you can get similar results with both.
You can.
I think
through the course of this show, it has shown me such.
Yeah, I think there's the type who paint with oils so well, it's like it's beyond belief. But then I think you get to a point where you're really, really good at acrylics. And then, you're kind of getting used to oils, and there's a kind of a point where you can get them both to look sort of like the same medium.
My thing here is I'm starting to wonder now.
Send your comments to Brendan Elliott at.
Yeah. I'm starting to wonder now if maybe the difference in how you get that detail and that look is in the size of the painting. Because it seems
it's
like
not the size that matters.
It's not the size, but the brush.
No,
brush strokes.
You're definitely onto something. Like we're talking with Vidar. Like you paint these images like large, right? And then this box, while it's a big box, I mean, it's still like less than a quarter size of the original painting, and all those details shrink down, so you get this hyper detailed image. So you're definitely onto something there.
That's what shocked me about those covers from the Prydain. When I was looking at those covers and the guy was doing it
the watercolor guys,
Leon, he was doing it on freaking 6x9 posts. I was like, he must be having one of those dwarf, microscope things that checks out gyms, but instead he was using it because you're right. The bigger you go, the more detail.
Well, and do you guys remember Tong di Panumus? Do you remember that Predator painting?
Oh, Panumi.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing was the size of like a vanity mirror. It was huge.
Yeah. He slept on it.
Yeah, he probably did. That's why
he used it as a blanket. Now, I played the hell out of King's Quest, but Doom was still in the back of my mind, and this is where I discovered that the creators of Doom had went ahead, paired with another company named Raven, and created a fantasy-based Doom.
Oh, no. Oh, the trunk.
Heretic.
Oh, the trunk. The trunkening. Oh.
Now, Heretic
This game.
where Doom was like formative.
This game.
Good. It showed me like a whole new world of violence and gore and action, and sometimes, strangely enough, humor. There's a little bit of humor in Doom.
Yep.
Heretic was this deep, dark fantasy of crumbling zombies, evil liches, howling demons. In some
Gloves
ways,
that turn people into jelly.
the gloves of the necromancer, where you could just shock your enemies to death. Where Doom was this action-packed, like I said, it was gorier. It never felt darker. It never felt that dark. It felt a little more cartoony in action and fast-paced.
It's funny that you say that, because you're totally right, but like Doom even had like all the like you'd go into hell and there'd just be bodies like ripped apart and heads impaled and intestine floors. But it
was over the top.
You're right.
Yeah,
Exactly. You're right.
it was over the top.
It felt just kind of almost silly.
Yeah.
So Doom was the girl that took you to the fairgrounds and you guys did bumper cars and stuff like that. Heretic took you under the bleachers.
That's right.
Yes. Heretic took you under the bleachers. Heretic was, like I said, there weren't as many hanging bodies, blood splattered on walls, things like that. This one was a little tamer. There were still gruesome deaths. The zombies split apart when you killed them.
Their souls come out.
Their souls come out. The demons would fall into a crumbly mess of gore. But the game had a darker tone. The music was darker. There was a random sound generator, so you'd be walking along a corridor and you'd hear like an evil laugh and the rattling of chains. That kind of atmosphere really built this game. And what really sells it is the game cover.
Dude, the cover is so good.
And
The
then this is
game
like
cover.
where he shines in his game. This is like
Even look at the lettering.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, so
it's hammered metal.
what are we looking at here?
Inks. You take this one.
Okay, so we've got a red cloaked mage man. There is no whiskers on this face. You get to see full, beautiful jaw that actually amplifies his lightning strike.
Which is the most
that's coming
Bromian
from
thing
his
ever.
death.
A strong jawline and no beard.
Yeah. no hair whatsoever. That was the first spell he learned, was how to zap all of his hair off so that his abs could shine.
He has no hair anywhere on his body.
None. No. Yeah. Brom's people are like slick, oily orcs that just came out of the mess in Saruman's basement. He's got a staff with a crystal on the end, and the crystal is doing electricity. You know this because it's got the zapping strikes the arcs. It even has a Z, and it is slamming into the chest of a zombie skeleton thing that might be enjoying it. Might be enjoying it a little bit.
I mean, I'm just going to say the position and shape of this staff is slightly suggestive, and the lightning is it's somewhat pearly, a little pearly white.
Boom.
I don't know.
Boom.
Maybe Brom was thinking about something.
Maybe.
Look at the cracks. Look at the fracture marks on his back as the light explodes out of his back.
Look at the background. Instead of just a straight like wall of tiles or whatever you see, there is like there's artwork. There's hieroglyphs of a skull being lit by the spell. The skeleton thingies they're not just like the zombies that were going to the supermarket and then ended up being zombies and are trying to kill you with their scarves. They've got like spikes and leather, and these zombies were doing something down in the dungeon before they became zombies. But I mean, everything is thought out. Nothing is an afterthought. No. Nothing is just pasted on there. And
freaking phenomenal.
The hammered metal heretic lettering looks like it was forged. There's cracks in it. This is when you do what's one of my first favorite things that I learned to do with lettering was put cracks in my fucking letters. And I just felt so cool. And you gotta love the eroded letters.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. So this is such an amazing piece of fantasy art and history.
There is a world. There was a world in this painting. Brom did this painting.
Yes, he did.
Brom returned after doing Doom 2, and he came back and he did the Heretic shareware version. Now, this was the mail-in version.
He saw the hamburger belly comments, and he was like,
no more.
Yeah?
No more. This is easily one of my favorite pieces of fantasy art. I would say it's close to one of my first pieces of fantasy art I ever saw.
I want to crawl in there and sleep. Just sleep right there, right in the middle of the battle.
Sleep under that cape.
I just want to sleep right in the middle. All the gunk is going to fall on me. I'm going to be very happy.
Mage man.
Now, I would love just to go and do a deep dive about Brom right now and just talk about him and all his cool art and all his cool stuff, but we have to pace ourselves with Brom because Brom is going to get his own episode.
Correct.
We promise you. We tiptoe around these guys. We tiptoe around Michael Whalen. We tiptoe around Brom because these guys, they need their own full episodes.
We haven't figured out how to create an episode that can hold their greatness yet.
Yeah.
It's like if we tried to do it, it would just explode and there would be episode shrapnel stuck in our chests. That's why we got to work ourselves up to it. We haven't leveled up to that.
Yeah, we're like that Minotaur that just got caught. All right, we just haven't been able to. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Just doing some dark bidding in here.
Give me another minute.
What are you talking about?
Do you guys notice too that, again, the Doom 2 cover was great, but if you look at that cover and you look at this cover, this one is like diamonds.
It's grown boy.
It's like freaking flawless. And I just feel like, fantasy is so much more his wheelhouse. I have to just believe that because he was drawing lithe skeleton and pointy things, he was much more at home.
Well, here's the other thing that we've learned, too, is that it's not just about the artist that affects the art. It could have been a deadline.
That's true.
It could have been bad leadership. It could have been bad notes. He may have had to change it a bunch. So you never know. You never know what led. That's why we do this show. Is like what led to this thing, and we try and figure out like not only was the artist involved, but what are the little eccentricities that led to what these covers look like.
Yeah. So this Brom image really highlights what I love about fantasy and the type of fantasy I love. I am not so much a lover of high fantasy, the bright colored capes and the white gowns and I like my fantasy dark. I like it dingy. I want my characters.
Innocent.
I want my character crawling through old dusty tombs. I want them to get beaten up and scratched. I want I want the villains to be evil, truly evil and disgusting. And I want the
Turning into
heroes
snakes and shit.
I want the heroes to be rugged and rough. I don't want
The Tangs gang.
the princess in the tower and the
Tang's
unicorn and the flying on the luck dragon, any of that kind of stuff. I want the down, the dirty, the dark in my fantasy, and I think Brom is basically the perfect artist to depict that of what I like.
He nailed it here. The main character is rugged. He's rough. He looks like he's been through it. He's not handsome at all. He's scarred. His face isn't perfect.
What are you talking about? I would place lips on this man.
Yeah,
beautiful.
He looks like he is an elf. In the heretic lore, he's a Sidhi elf who's being who's gone into hell to fight Disparel, one of the serpent riders.
What?
Of which there are three.
And what a story right there.
Yeah.
So get this: the first act in this game, you're in the Sidhi capital that has been destroyed by Disparel's units. At the end of this chapter,
love an evil wizard name.
Yeah.
Just wizard names.
Hey, can you pass me that barrel? Which barrel? This barrel. Zap, zap, zap.
Welcome to the job. You must be the new guy. Welcome to Evil Empire. Help yourself to any blood or whatever's lying around.
So following chapter 2, you at the end of chapter 1, you've walked through the gates of hell and you find yourself in hell, and you have to fight through a bunch of levels of hell, at the end of which you have to defeat these 3 Minotaurs who are guarding this gate, right? In the end chapter, you explore the domes of Disparel, which are an underwater city.
Oh, so cool.
And as a kid, when you're so used to playing in these dark dungeons and these citadels and these caverns, to walk out of a door and have everything above you be underwater, and you're in these
that's pretty cool.
These tiled sort of temples with these sort of fishoid creatures everywhere. Yeah, it's so awesome.
I want to play this right now. I'm going to jump into my computer screen and disappear.
Yeah. So, going down one, you can see the version of the painting that Brom did. Yep, as the main screen that's been pixelated. I really love this.
That's pretty cool.
Red.
They've just
does he have that little border around it? I guess he does.
Yeah. So yeah, basically
they changed the color of his outfit a little bit.
They changed the color scheme here. It's been reduced down to what would this be? 32-bit or 16-bit or something?
Yeah.
No, it's not quite 8-bit.
At this size, it's probably 16-bit, because if you have the little sprite, that's a cool thing. And the loadout screens always look much better than the actual gameplay, because, on the gameplay, your sprite is the size of his crystal or that, his hilt of his sword. But yeah, in the loadout screen, you can go pretty high.
So question for you guys. I'm not sure if you know this, but I'm very curious. So would there have actually been an artist that went over this with pixels, or would this have just been scanned in and then the program would have?
No, I gotta believe that someone had to go over it.
Yeah,
man,
that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one. I would just figure once they processed it into their software, it would have had to have been rendered down.
Because
I don't know.
If you look at the borders of his cloak, you can almost see there's white on there, almost like the computer just didn't do a good job of
Yeah.
Well, what you can do if you want to do pixel art is you can take the image that you want to, that your sketch or you want to trace or whatever. You can take and you can turn it into the pixels. I don't know the pixels off the top of my head, but you can look it up if you want to do 16-bit or 8-bit. You can turn your resolution into those pixels and then start to fill it out with the pixels.
Yeah, that's true.
And it'll get close to what you're looking for, and you'll have to probably go clean it up. I'm guessing it was maybe now that we've discussed it, it's probably a combination. They probably reduced it down and then they had to go in and clean it up.
Yeah, that's probably true. Pixel artists, folks out there, if you have the answer, let us know how they might have reduced this down.
Yeah, we could have you on.
Now, a few years later, they went ahead and they released this Heretic Shadow of the Serpent Rider, which was an expansion pack, which contained
Shadow of the Serpent Rider,
which contained the original game and a expansion pack that had a couple new chapters worth of levels in there,
which is great. But this cover is not.
What we're looking at here is an item from the game. One of the items you can pick up in the game is called the Tome of Power. And what the Tome of Power does...
I love the Tome of Power.
It lets you upgrade one of your weapons, right? For a short amount of time. Or any of your weapons, really. Whatever one you scroll around to. So your quarterstaff, which you start off with, ends up being electrified. Your magic wand shoots in a fan kind of way. Your necromancer's claws will suck the life out of your enemy and give you life.
Yeah, and
so on and so forth.
The origin of the claw?
That's right. Real quick, folks, if you're having trouble with the ladies, try using the Book of Power.
Get the Tome of Power.
It'll
put some energy onto your quarterstaff.
What would you like to upgrade? I'd like to upgrade. I'd like to upgrade my my penis. If you could upgrade your penis, I want to.
Everybody, this young man wants to upgrade his penis.
Upgrade his penis.
Your penis has been upgraded to 5 inches. It's fucking tome.
So yes, we're looking at the Tome of Power. This has been. This looks like it's CG work, computer graphics. There's a skull.
Just a sad skull. He's sad to be on this book.
He's got the biggest eyes of any. You got the biggest nose, the biggest eyes of any biped I've ever seen. This must have been a goofy. This is like Gollum.
Humanus Drungus.
We hate it.
Yeah, so kind of uninspired, kind of an obvious choice to do as a cover. I feel like they could have done another illustration, but
hire Brom again.
And so this was the next thing to come out. Now, following Heretic, there were still two more evil lords, right? There were brothers. There was Desperal, and next was Korax. Korax was the next Serpent Rider, and he's the villain in the game Hexen Beyond Heretic.
Oh,
this game takes Heretic
double trunk
and absolutely blows it out of the water in every way. So
darkness too. This game is even darker than Heretic.
It's even darker. It's more violent. There are the atmosphere of this game is unbelievable. It's incredibly dark. It's incredibly brooding. You feel very much like you're by yourself with a legion of monsters all around you. And the cool thing about this game is you could pick from 3 heroes. There was a barbarian, a cleric, and a mage, and each had their own weapons.
Wow,
well, this one almost had sort of like an RPG element to it as well.
It was very puzzle based, and it had a hub system built in, where you had your main level with different levels branching off of it that you had to travel through again and again as different areas opened up to you. So it's a very immersive game. Graphically, it's the same as Heretic for the most part. They created some new new perks in there, graphic wise. You'd have trees with leaves being blown by the wind.
Oh, that's right.
Fog hanging over rivers.
Yeah. One of my favorite things in this game is there's these serpent guys that live in these swamps, and when you're walking around, you'll see their tails go like up and down in the water.
Ooh.
And then they would pop out and go, "Hey! Hey!
So you got your staff up all the time.
Yeah, you go, holy shit! And you have your axe, and you just hacking them away.
And you know they're dead because you have to give them like 3 or 4 whacks, and you know they're dead because their body parts float up and like drift around the pool.
3 whacks and none.
So
I like that he's holding the opposite, the anti Kenny Loggins orb. You know, Kenny Loggins had the orb of love and life. This is the orb of pain.
This is Kenny Loggins Sauron.
Soul patch piss yellow. Yeah.
So what do we have in the cover here, fellas?
Okay, so folks, this whole show is about covers, and this is literally a portal, a cover with a portal that's trying to suck you into hell. It's trying to take your soul and be like, hey, come have a fun adventure with me. There's going to be monsters and well, you're going to die. But, you're going to have fun while you're in here.
You ride one serpent and you're an evil sorcerer.
So what we have is this sort of monastery-looking wall with this sort of portcullis, and standing behind it is this really cool Sith Lord with his robe, and he's got these spikes on his shoulders.
No,
and
he would kick a Sith's ass.
Embedded deep in his black hood, in the darkness of his hood, are 2 glowing red eyes, and as Ink's perfectly described, in his hands he's ready to shoot an energy ball of piss yellow. And it's got either that or he's just like shining a flashlight because it's got the little beam. It's like, hey, I'm in here.
Find my keys.
I'm in here, guys.
Has anybody got my serpent keys?
Serpent keys.
I got my serpent. You gotta write it.
And behind him is this awesome inferno that's raging, and it just makes you wonder, like, what the hell is going on behind? And the thing about this cover, though, is the logo. The Hexen logo is not good. It is not a good
logo. It was scratched out on someone's desk during algebra.
Oh, Hexen. I like that. We're going to use that for my game.
Not cool enough for you, Jamie.
Yeah, it's a white...
It's not
Hexen.
the best.
No, this
but it's
literally
still
looks like
iconic.
It was paint.
It's still iconic, though.
I don't hate it.
I do. I mean, I don't hate it.
It looks like it was carved into someone's flesh.
I very much dislike, especially the X. The problem is if you zoom in on the X, this is literally like was done on paint. They couldn't figure out a logo. The logo guy was like, got drunk or high and was like, no, I can't do that,
I've seen this on so many benches, so many desks, so many bathroom walls.
But
it doesn't scream fantasy at all. I'd rather just not even have the name of the game on it.
It screams metal.
Yes.
This is like a metal album.
Yeah.
I wish they had put, there's like a, Hexen has all sorts of symbols and little designs. I wish they had just like thrown that up there. Yeah. Like that's what your thing. But cool. Other than that, this is a fantastic cover. Do you know who made this?
I do not. I searched everywhere for the person who did this art piece. I scoured the internet, for about half an hour. And and I just could not find the person who did the piece, which is a bummer because it is a very cool work of art.
It almost looks like rotoscope. Like this looks like Sandman, like one of those Sandman issues. If you zoom in and you look at his hood, it almost looks like it really, to me, it looks like a photograph of a guy.
Yeah.
That maybe they painted went over.
Yeah, it definitely looks computer generated. The orb is definitely computer generated. Composite. The window, sort of the portal, definitely looks like it was taken from a photograph with some composite work over the top. Overall, I mean, it's a great depiction of the darkness you're going to find in this game. Believe it or not, the first time I ever played this game was on a black and white laptop.
Was it because the screen was broken, or did it come black and white?
No, so there were black and white laptops. I don't know if you knew that, but this laptop
It's called a calculator.
A family friend. This is like the mid 90s. This is the mid to late 90s. My friend had his dad's laptop. He's like, dude, you got to check this game out. And it's black and white. And the weird thing about playing games in black and white, like for some reason, the depth goes away. Like everything just looks sort of flat and weird. So with a first person shooter, it made it real awkward and it wasn't fun to play. And I was kind of like, I think I'll give this one a try some other time. And luckily, I was able to find the demo.
You went to Egghead.
I played the absolute.
Welcome back.
I played the absolute hell out of this demo, and it actually wasn't until probably in my 20s that I got to play the full game, because it came out for download. You could download it off of Steam. So I highly suggest listeners out there. You get Heretic and Hexen. They have a bundle on Steam. It's Hexen and Hexen 2, which includes the Hexen expansion,
which is
great. It comes with Heretic and the Heretic expansions as well. And the nice thing about these games now is if you add some the ID first person shooter games have such a huge community of modders. Out there, like there's endless content for these games. There are endless Heretic levels. There's endless Hexen levels. You can get a mod that takes the Heretic character and you can play him in the Hexen game. They have mods that make the graphics completely smoothed over and update all the graphics and add lighting effects. Doom itself is one of the most modded games of all time. We talked about Doom at the beginning. Brutal Doom being one of the most popular mods makes it basically a modern day shooter with ridiculous amounts of gore. You blow up an enemy and his body parts stick to the ceiling and then like drip off. There's water effects, and the music has been the music for all these games have been taken and re-recorded and recreated with modern day instruments. These are hugely influential games that have been loved by many, many people, me included, and they've had a big effect on me and my own bearing on fantasy.
Now, and I have to completely concur. I mean, and folks, if you just look at these covers, you would not even care what was inside of that. Like, if this was a book, if this was a movie, if this was what, I don't care what this was. I would want this. I want this right now.
You have a Dark Lord thing.
I love Dark Lords. I love Dark Lord. I love bright lights. I love undead crispy things. Just look at these covers though. Look how juicy they are.
I know.
Look how much lore and the movement and the excitement of each of these pieces. It is exactly what you want out of a cover for anything. I don't care what it is. If every cover looked like this, the world would be a better place.
That's right.
It would.
Changing the world one Dark Lord at a time.
So in short, folks, that's my dungeon. You've been through my dungeon. It was only 2 rooms. But you learned a little bit about my childhood love of Doom and Egghead Software. Excuse me. You took a very short jaunt through King's
Do not
Quest.
burp near the software. You will soil it with your disgusting lungs. Thank you.
We took a short jaunt through King's Quest with some beautiful art there. Art by John Shroades. And then through Brom's Heretic.
Promptly
and then
exploded in our pants.
Precisely. And then to the unknown artist behind Hexen.
Oh.
Yes.
What a journey.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I did
Brengineer.
a quick search and I could only see the art directors. So that one we may come back one day and be like, hold on now. Update.
That's
and
right.
I'll tell you the artist.
Or if you out there, if you guys have more information, let us know. We want that. We want to hear the information.
Coverdecoder@gmail.com. Help us out.
That's right. Well-
make this circle complete.
Well, folks, that is it for Brengineer's edition of
Fantastic.
Fantasy
Here's
February.
Pixelated Dungeon.
I'm going to put on my power gloves and run around the house and pretend I'm exploding things.
Yep, in my tidy whities.
Yep. No tidy whities. I'm going to be naked. I'm going to be opening that book
Naked
of power.
power
Birthday
gloves.
suit.
Well, I'll get you a tome of power. Don't worry.
Tome of power.
Please do. Please do.
+5 penis enlargement spell.
Hey, Tome of Power, what's up? You want me to do your penis, don't you? Hey, how did you...
Everybody asked the
How did
same
you
thing.
know?
Can't someone just ask me to do something nice for once?
Something else? A staff? An
It's
orb?
always the penis.
I'll take a knife.
As always, folks, thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
As we take you on the journeys through these covers, who's behind them, what they mean to us, what they mean to you, possibly. We hope you learned something.
Yeah.
We have an Instagram, Cover Decoder. You can email us at coverdecoder@gmail.com.
Please do.
Please like, please subscribe. All those things help us a whole heck of a lot. And we have a Patreon. We have our own cult. Did you know that? Our own cult.
Yes.
And you want to join the cover cult. Don't worry, it's nothing weird, it's nothing creepy. It's just more art.
Yes.
And some of our very own secrets mixed in.
Right now, you could be abducted by a possible time-traveling symphony wizard. You could join us in having intimate relations with fruit. There are so many things you could enjoy on Patreon.
You got us. The fruit salad is not the same. It's not the same. You've ruined Thanksgiving.
It went from a fruit salad to an ambrosia salad.
Yes, you could be a part of this conversation. These inside jokes. The cult is strong, and you are amongst friends when you're there.
And it's only $2 a month.
That's it.
$2 a month. That's going to buy you. That wouldn't even buy you a quarter of a tome of power, which doesn't want to enlarge your penis.
Yeah, that's like one pack of floppy disks at Egghead.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. And remember, folks, the art isn't blurry. It's just pixelated.